Good morning, friends. Today we are going to study about the cell disruption techniques. Now, the types of the cell suspension, if you see, the mechanical and non-mechanical treatments. In mechanical treatment, liquid shear is used, solid shear can be used, then agitation with the abrasives, freeze thawing, and ultrasonication. These are the mechanical methods. And non-mechanical methods are detergents, osmotic shock, alkali treatment, and enzyme treatment. These are the types of the mechanical and non-mechanical treatments where you can use the any of these techniques for the cell disruption. In the mechanical methods are those methods which require some sort of force to separate out intracellular protein without adding chemical or enzyme. Okay, mechanical method means typically it is made on means mechanical method means to remove the tree. We don't use any alkaline treatment or any chemical treatment. We use the saws and the axis for cutting the trees. This is the mechanical method. So this is the in for cell disruption also various mechanical methods can be used. Now the disruption of the microorganism is often required in the large scale production of microbial products such as enzymes, then toxins and diagnostic or therapeutic proteins which are present. So many of the toxins and many of the enzymes are extra intracellularly produced, and that's why these types of uh, methods can be used. Now maximum release of the product of interest is done by this method. Then no mechanical or thermal denaturation of the product is attained during disruption, and minimum release of proteases which may degrade the product. Okay, and so minimum release of particulates or soluble contaminants that may influence the downstream processing. This is the one of the type of the cell disruption. Okay, so these are the ideal technology for the disruptions which are characterized by the four types. Okay, in the next slide if you can see that the liquid shear forces, they have been used in the large scale enzyme purification procedures. Then high pressure homogenizers, they are used for microbial cell disruption. Then microbial slurry passes through a non return valve and impinges against the operative valve set at the selected operating pressure. Okay, means what, the microbial slurry which is or the microbial suspension is passed through the valves and it impinges against the operative valve set and it creates a pressure, and because of this pressure and the narrow channel which is being created in the valve, there is an impact on the ring by a sudden pressure drop at the exit near the narrow orifice. This large pressure drop across the valve is believed to cause cavitation in the slurry, and the shock waves produced which are produced by the liquid shear forces, they disrupt the cells. So various techniques are being devised by the scientists and the engineers to create the channels through which the microbial suspensions are passed through, and because of this pressure and the pressure exit release in the pressure, the cells get disrupted. Okay, so this is the liquid shear force. This is a liquid shear homogenizer where the feed is given from the top. Okay, and this, through the you can see the channel over here in the between, and through that channel the impinge the valve is rotate it is moving up and down, and because of which what happens, the microbial cells, they get pressurized, and you can get a homogenized product in on the both of the sides, and the ring is there at the adjacent to the valve where it creates a pressure, and when the pressure is released, when the cells come out, then the cells feel the shock, and because of which the liquid shear force is created and they get uh, disrupted. This needs to this liquid shear homogenizer, it needs to be cool the slurry between the 0 to 4 degrees Celsius to minimize loss in enzyme activity because of heat generation during the process. Now the next is the solid shear. We have the pressure exclusion of frozen microorganisms at around minus 25 degrees Celsius is carried out through a small orifice using Hughes press or express. Now, this disruption caused by shear liquid shear through a narrow orifice and the presence of ice crystals is carried out. Now, this technique is ideal for microbial products which are temperature labile. Now, agitation with the abrasives. Okay, mechanical cell disruption can also be achieved in a disintegrator containing the series of rotating discs and the charge of small beads. Now these beads are made up of mechanically resistant materials, that is glass, then alumina ceramics, then zirconia, and some titanium compounds are also be used. But this kind of mechanical shear is gentle enough to keep the organelles intact. Now it can be used with all kinds of cells. We have to just add the beads to an equal amount of cell suspension, and we have to vortex or centrifuge it so that the agitation is carried out, and which removes the cell inclusions outside the outside the cell. So this is the agitation with the abrasives, which is carried out. Agitation is carried out in a centrifuge like machine, and inside you can see the beads which are being used for creating the pressure. These are the abrasives. Now the freezing and thawing. Freezing and thawing means what? Freezing means we have to keep the cells at very low temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius, and we have to thaw those cells. Thaw the cells means again bring that cells into the normal temperature, ambient temperature. This is called as this process is called as thawing process. Now freezing and thawing of the microbial cells will inevitably cause the ice crystals to form, and their expansion followed by the thawing will lead to subsequent disruption of the cell. Beta glucosidase has been obtained from Saccharomyces cerevisiae by this freezing and thawing method. Next is the ultrasonication method. The ultrasonication homogenizers work by including vibration in a titanium probe that is immersed in the cell solution. Now this process is called cavitation, which occurs in which tiny bubbles are formed, and they explode, producing a local shock wave, and they disrupting the cell walls by pressure exchange. Now this method is very popular for plant and fungal cells, but comes at one disadvantage, that it is very loud and has to be performed in an extra room. It is very effective for small scale, but number of drawbacks of for the large scale is that power requirements is very high, and large heating effect is needed, and thus it also needs cooling, and the probes have a short working life, and it is only effective over a short range of time. So this is a ultrasonicator, where the in the right side you can, in the left side you can see the actual image of ultrasonication, and in the right side you can see the this is a schematic image where the ultrasound is generated, and the ultrasound tip is there, and the cell suspension is kept at the bottom in the container, which is in the and the tip of that ultrasound tip, it creates a wave, and that because of that wave the cells are disrupted. Now other physico-mechanical methods are there: grinding, pestle, or and mortar. uh, this is a very ancient technique which is used by the Rishi Munis since many 100 years ago, to remove the extract from the plants and the seeds. This is a very ancient technique, so we also use it in our household use for grinding the cardamoms, and for whenever you prepare the tea. Okay, so this is a mortar and pestle. It just gives the cells a good old grinding, and this does not have to be in suspension, and is often done with plant samples, and are the plants which are frozen in liquid nitrogen. Now the material when the material has been disrupted, metabolites can be extracted by adding the solvents such as methanol, ethanol, ether. Various types of solvents can be added, and you can recover the extracts. Now other physico-chemical methods are also used for disrupting the cells. The use of the blenders, High speed blenders can be used to disrupt the cell walls. This is the same process used by centrifugation, which separates or concentrates material suspended in a liquid medium. Okay, this is good as blender. uh, Chemical method, you can see detergents which are used, they will damage the lipoproteins of the microbial cell membrane and lead to the release of intracellular components. And now these compounds that can be used are quaternary ammonium compounds, then the sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium dodecyl sulfate, and triton X100. These are the detergents which are used for disrupting the cells of the bacterial cells, as well as any type of cell which you need to disrupt it. Now the detergents may cause some protein denaturation and may need to be removed before further purification stages can be undertaken. Then next is osmotic shock treatment. Osmotic shock caused by a sudden change in salt concentration. Okay, that is 0.15 molar to 0.001 molar concentration NaCl can be used, which will cause disruption of number of cell types. Now it has proved to be a successful technique for the extraction of luciferase from the Photobacterium fischeri. Normally, we use the animal cells for disruption by this osmotic shock treatment. Then next is the alkali treatment. It can be used for hydrolysis of microbial cell wall material, provided that the desired enzyme will tolerate a pH of 11.5 to 12.5 for 20 to 30 minutes. So this is an alkaline treatment, children, that we can use NaOH, KOH, as well as any other alkali for carrying out hydrolysis of the microbial cell wall. Next chemical treatment, it often is used with the plant cells and is sometimes used in combination with the shearing forces, such as organic solvents such as toluene is used, ether, benzene, methanol, surfactants and phenyl, then ethyl alcohol and dimethyl sulfoxide, DMSO. They can be used to permeate the cell walls. Now ethylene diamide tetraacetic acid, they can EDTA can be used specifically to disrupt the cell walls of gram negative bacteria, uh, whose cell walls contain lipopolysaccharides that are stabilized by cations such as Mg2 plus and Ca2 plus. Now EDTA will chelate the cations and leaves the holes in the cell walls, creating the most common EDTA which binds the divalent cations is the Mg and magnesium and calcium. So EDTA destabilizes the outer membrane of gram negative microorganisms and which contains the lipopolysaccharides, exposing the underlying peptidoglycan layer. Now this inner membrane is apparently not affected by the treatment with just EDTA. Divalent cations, either magnesium and calcium, it stabilizes the structure of the outer leaflet by binding the lipopolysaccharide molecules to each other as well as to outer membrane proteins. Now when EDTA removes the divalent cations from the outer membrane, a large portion of lipopolysaccharide molecules are also removed by this chemical treatment using EDTA, in which the magnesium and calcium is used. Now this is the most expensive method, that is enzymatic treatment. The number of enzymes which hydrolyze the specific bonds in the cell walls of a limited number of microorganisms. Now this is very specific treatment where the specific enzyme is used for reacting with the specific composition of the cell wall or the membrane. So these enzymes are including enzyme lysozyme and enzyme extracts from leukocytes such as Streptomyces species, then Micromonospora species, then Penicillium species. Now in theory, you have seen that the selective enzyme rupture is ideal, but costs are very high, that I have told you earlier only, and the presence of the enzymes may complicate further downstream purification processes. Now these methods are not widely used in large scale with the exception of lysozyme. Lysozyme is used for DNA isolation, you all know. Then they may be used as a pre-treatment to partially hydrolyze the cell walls prior to cell disruption by the mechanical methods. Now this comes to the end of this cell disruption technique. If you like this lecture, please hit the like button and share this video and subscribe my YouTube channel. If you have any doubts, you can WhatsApp me personally. Thank you. Thank you very much.